Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm April Martinez.
And I'm Asana Kertal.
Good morning, good morning. Wonderful Monday.
Yes.
Bright,
Yes.
hot, sunny. I don't know wherever you are in part of Belize how it is, but it really hot and bright in Belize today.
It's quite a departure from the last time I sat on this couch.
Yes, yes.
Where we were on the, I'd like to say the tail ends, but we were literally on the cusp of bad weather last week.
Right? I thought it was going to continue on the whole week and then into the weekend, but I'm really happy that it wasn't like that. So I think everybody enjoyed a nice chilled weekend.
Yeah.
You were in your hammock again this weekend?
Certainly. Certainly. I'm going to say this, right? As much as I did not this weekend, I know that Belizeans came out. For many, it was a payday weekend.
It was a payday weekend.
And so there were several activities happening, well, at least in Belize City, across the city.
Yeah.
And I'm certain that Belizeans made sure that they enjoyed. And we're talking the Summerfest that the City Council had on Saturday.
Yes.
We're also talking the pageants that were held over the weekend as well. So
there are several sporting events throughout the country.
There was the BDF, the Security Forces Cup on Friday.
Yes, in Belmopan. And I realized that, I don't know about you, but I've been going to different communities for the past few months after the gates opened. And every single community, wherever you are in the country, is hosting something.
Yeah.
I think that everybody is just so happy that they're able to go outside. And so whether it's a little festival, whether it's a sporting event, whether it's a competition of some sort, there's something happening in every single community. And I think I like that because it pushes local tourism. If you want to go see volleyball, you don't have to stay at Belize City. There was volleyball in Placencia.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to go see basketball, there was basketball in Key-Cocker. There were so many different little events happening in different pockets of Belize, of our country. And I think that it tells us that the normalcy is slowly starting to return, quote unquote normalcy, right? Because
I think normalcy, well, you saying slowly is an understatement. We were only waiting for those proverbial gates to open and we were gone, right? So it's almost as if though we're completely back to where we were.
That's very true, but you know, maybe it's because I've not seen it on the media or on social media, but I've not seen that large influx of people going across the border. Like I assumed that there would be like a trip to Chetumal every single weekend, and I've not. I don't know. Maybe please correct me if I'm wrong, right? But I haven't been seeing it.
Well, if that's
I've been seeing the Belizean traveler.
If that's your measure, then perhaps that's not what you'll expect to see. I'm not sure. But if we're looking within the borders of our country and the movement of people, for instance, you had the extended weekend a couple of weekends ago where Belizeans flocked to San Pedro and the islands, right? If that isn't testament to, you know, us.
You're right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But I think I'm still amazed at the local tourism, because I don't know if you traveled a lot before the pandemic, but I mean you have, because you're a journalist, right? For work.
My job,
But I used to travel a lot before, and you would never see that many Belizean congregated in one place.
Yeah.
You know, and now you're seeing it, and I don't know, I really enjoy it. I love the fact that we're becoming more and more engaged in our community events, in our national events, and it stems to have that pride as a Belizean.
Speaking of which, though, September is almost here, so many of us are mentally, financially And for those who will be in the bands and what have you, physically preparing themselves for everything that September brings along with it. We're talking the month of celebration, right? It's the month of patriotism and nationalism. That's the foremost objective of the month. But in the spirit of celebrating, I mean, we're looking forward to everything that month has. Carnival, 10th, 21st, all of these other events. At the end of the month, we're going to be having the Sir Barry Bowen Pelican Fest, all of these other events that are coming back.
I definitely agree with you. I think I'm more proud of anything else that it's happening outside of just that September bracket. You know, that we always talk about, you're only Belizean and patriotic 10th or 21st, but now I'm feeling that, I'm seeing it more often, almost every day. So I'm really, really happy for that, and I am an advocate for culture, as you are well aware. So it's something to be proud of, but we hope that you continue to motivate yourself to be a Belizean traveler, see more of your country, be more prideful of who you are. And to continue motivating you this morning, we get into our eye-opener for today, and our eye-opener is taken from dailyom.com, and it goes like this. The more conscious we become, the more we deepen our relationship to the words we choose to use. Words carry energy, and this gives language its power and its potential to heal or hurt. Most of us can remember a time that someone sent a word our way and it stuck with us. It may have been the first time we received a truly accurate compliment, or the time a friend or sibling called us a name, but either way it stuck. This experience reminds us that what we say has weight and power, and that being conscious means being aware of how we use words. You may notice that when we speak quickly, without thinking, or rush to get our ideas across, our words don't carry the same power as when we speak slowly and confidently, allowing those receiving our words time and space to take them all in. When we carefully listen to others before we speak, our words have more integrity, and when we take time to center ourselves before speaking, we truly begin to harness the power of speech. Then our words can be intelligent messengers of healing and light, transmitting deep and positive feelings to those who receive them. Thoughts, Asani?
I think this eye-opener is most appropriate to someone like myself, whose primary business
is how you speak, and what you say, and how you say it.
So, there are various settings in which we use language to convey messages. You have the home or the domestic setting, you have the professional setting, and of course you have the social, the casual setting. And each of those various scenarios, you are interacting with people. And whereas work may be a lot more formal than in the casual space, what we say and how we say it carries meaning and weight. If I'm at work, I am more cautious in how I approach certain things verbally, or if I'm writing something. If I am around my guys, hanging out, then certain comments fly, they're offhanded. If I'm around the family, parents, kids, wife, siblings, you are a bit relaxed, but at the same time, these are the people who, for many of us, matter the most. So we're still careful of what we're saying, right? There's a certain comfort that we enjoy around either of these three scenarios that I've painted, but what we say goes a long way, and oftentimes we don't really pause to understand the gravity of what we're saying.
I
had a
agree.
Sorry, go ahead.
I definitely agree, but I wanted to tap into being conscious about it. Is one thing, and I think sometimes especially when we're angry,
Yeah.
Right? And we just say the first thing that comes to our head, and the minute you say it and you see the expression of the person's face, you realize what had just occurred, right? And in that moment of realization, it's up to you whether you fix the problem right then and there, or you leave it and it becomes a different situation.
Well, if you leave it, you're essentially allowing it to fester,
Right.
which creates a bigger problem, right? I think when we understand, and we are only able to understand the error of our ways, so to speak, when we are checked, right? So sometimes we say things, don't really mean it, it just flies off the tongue and it's out there.
Yeah.
And we're not mindful of who that may have affected. So you just fire off something and it hits, it lands somewhere and someone is aggrieved by it. It is only when it is brought to your attention, hey, I heard you said something.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, but I just said it. Like I never really thought about it beyond, you know, just speaking it into the atmosphere, so to speak. Then someone says, okay, but it affected me because what you said describes me, or what you said was directly about me.
Yeah. Even though you didn't even think about it in
you
that
just
matter.
fired it off,
Yeah.
you know? And so when that happens and it is brought to your attention, then you realize, you know what, I need to be more careful. I can't just be rambling, or I can't just be shooting it off, you know?
And I think that it doesn't matter the years of experience, because also as a teacher you have to be careful as well. The years of experience, sometimes things, you're human, right?
Yeah.
So you say something or that you don't mean, or it comes off in a way that sounds disingenuous or insensitive. And so you have to be able to recollect yourself and be conscious, even though it is a difficult thing to do, from time to time, that your words carry weight and meaning. But
significant weight and meaning.
Significant weight and meaning. But we have to get moving into our show for this morning with the weather forecast. And Isani and I were talking about, you know, the shift of weather from last week to this week, and I feel like that's just going to continue.
Extremely hot yesterday,
Extremely
I must
hot.
say.
And it was cloudy, and I thought it was going to rain, and then it didn't. I don't know. The weather is weird, but we have the folks in from the Met Service to tell us all about it. But if you are somewhere within central Belize, Mindfully, Belmopan, or so, you always know, right, that we're not island by ourselves. So you never know if this stuff for we or not. But yes, the folks from the Met Service will tell us all about it in a bit. Got it? Yeah. So I don't know about you, right? But every time I get the forecast, I feel that the isolated showers thing, the leave it or rain thing, it's not really isolated or leave it. It always pours in ways that I will never be able to understand. And no matter what Francisca tell me, in Belmopan, it's strange. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm doing good, and you?
I am ready to hear all the positive things about the weather today.
Okay.
So let's start with the general situation for this morning.
Okay, the atmosphere is relatively moist, so that will support some cloudy spells today. But by tonight, we'll see partly cloudy skies. For this morning, we'll be seeing a few showers, isolated thunderstorms, and that will be affecting mostly southern districts. Then by this evening, these will be spreading to inland areas. Tonight, I'm going for isolated showers.
Okay, libertarian tonight.
That's right.
All right, and what about our winds?
Be out of the east, 5 to 15 knots, and producing light drop seas.
And our temperatures, the highs and lows?
Okay, for this afternoon, I'm going for 88 along the coast, 93 inland, 82 up in the Maya Mountains. And then overnight temperatures, 80 along the coast, 73 inland, and 66 up in the Maya Mountains.
All right, and what about the weather for Tuesday and Tuesday night?
Okay, so we'll continue to see isolated showers or isolated thunderstorms.
Any tropical updates?
At this time, they have a little system that's saying south-southeast of Bermuda, but at this time, the chances of it developing is very low.
Okay, so we still keep an eye out though.
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you so much for stopping in and giving us all the positive news.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Have a great day too. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right. Relatively fair. There's a libertarian, but again, just keep your umbrella out, your boots on, and your raincoat out, just in case. But we get moving into our show for this morning, and of course it's Monday, so we give you the eye on the news.
I want to talk politics this morning.
Your favorite subject, really.
Always an interesting conversation when you look at the dynamics behind how we are governed, right? Last week, there were several occurrences taking place within the political sphere. And we're talking on both sides, within the United Democratic Party, within the Belize City Council, Belmopan City Council. Those are run by the People's United Party. And as I've mentioned, a lot of moving parts within these three scenarios. The most recent one was on Friday afternoon, where the chairman of the People's United Party, Henry Charles Usher, met with the Belmopan City Council.
Yes.
As you know, there has been a mutiny on board HMS Palacio, right? I say that to say that the mayor of Belmopan, for the most part, has been at odds with her councillors.
Right.
They don't see eye to eye on a number of things. And for me, the big picture has to do with delivering the services that the residents of Belmopan need. And so when they took to the polls to elect this municipal slate, they were confident that these are the people who could best administer the functions of City Hall, right? The functions of the Garden City. And when you have a situation where there is a serious disconnect between the leadership and the supporting cast, it creates a problem in the way how services
will be provided.
Precisely. And what is interesting, at least from my point of view, and I'm someone that when I look at certain things, I look at certain ironies as well. And so while the chairman of the party intervened in this particular situation, bringing everyone to the table and trying to hash out differences so that there's a unified front moving forward, one could say, well, it's a kumbaya moment, but on the other hand, you could say, well, it's not all hunky-dory. Feelings are still hurt, they're raw, and this is only for face value, some people would argue. On the other hand, I draw the parallel. A couple weeks ago, we reported that within the United Democratic Party, the leader of the opposition, Cheyenne Barrow, had met with the former leader, Patrick Faber, and the Albert era representative, Tracy Tager Panton, in the presence of a religious leader who, I gather prayed over them to ensure that, the direction that they're taking as a party is one that is based on solidarity. But last week, things are once again unraveling, right? So one could argue again that perhaps that was all for face value, and the true picture was not necessarily being painted. And perhaps the true picture in this case is that you have differences. You have fundamental philosophical differences in the way how you choose to lead and in the way how you are followed, right? And so you could look at both of these scenarios that I've just shown you where, we don't necessarily agree with each other. Someone has to step in, mediate the situation, But because we're serving the public, we have to give the impression that we're a team once again.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, and I'll take it a step further to say that these things will always happen because, and I think it was in an interview with Marian Ali that Mayor Palacio said she didn't choose her slate, right? That they were people that were chosen, they were chosen together by the people. But that's how it is, you know, and it doesn't matter if you cannot get along. There will always be personality differences. There will always be cultural differences. There will always be different spectrums and different walks of life because none of you grew up in the same environment or the same era, right? So there will be conflicts amongst, you know, different personalities, but that shouldn't sway you from your duty to the public. And that is where I think that in any government, it doesn't have to be this one, it doesn't have to be, you know, this administration or the previous administration, in any form of government that will happen. Because as she rightfully said, they were selected by the people.
Yes.
Right? You not select your best friend for be it, right? Because your best friend now steer you in our direction, but like maybe you're not thinking clearly, or maybe you should try it this way, or maybe you should try it that way. You know, you don't want that because then that creates even more conflict of interest within a government, and that is what you call nepotism. You don't pick your family and friends to serve, right? Because there will always be that conflict of interest. So when it comes to democracy and governing, your slate will be selected by the public who they believe will be the best chance for them and the service that you will provide to the general population, right? And I think that is what is missing in these kinds of conversations. You don't forget your duty.
Certainly. At the heart of it, nonetheless, is open lines of communication.
Right.
When you have certain differences, but they're not brought to the table where one can openly discuss what they like and what they don't like about what is being put forward. When you don't have that kind of dialogue,
openness,
then it creates a situation where people who are supposed to work together become standoffish towards each other. And it creates a chasm, a division. And so that was just one of, well, those are two scenarios that I'm pointing to. The third one is equally interesting, where within the Belize City Council, there is a councillor, a former deputy mayor, who has gotten a scholarship and is set to pursue legal studies in the Caribbean at the University of the West Indies. But the controversy, some would say, is the fact that the councillor has indicated to City Hall that he is relinquishing his responsibilities so that he's able to pursue his academic course. But he's also asking for his stipend to remain intact. Now, when I spoke with fellow counselors, they were saying, okay, well, we on a monthly basis get a little upwards of $2,000, but with certain allowances, it brings it to roughly $3,000 per month. Now, these stipends or salaries, however you want to class them, is based on work being done. You work, you get paid.
Responsibilities,
You don't work, you don't get paid. It's a very simple and fundamental concept. So that if you are requesting a leave of absence to pursue your academic course, but you've given up your portfolio,
because
then
he formally resigned from his position.
Well, a formal resignation would trigger a by-election, which I'll get to shortly. In this case, he's only pointing out to his colleagues at City Hall, look, perhaps I cannot handle what my responsibilities are as an elected official while I'm also outside of the country pursuing a law degree. So it's one or the other. That would seem to be the case on the surface of it. Why the letter, or why this was suggested or brought to the attention of City Hall, right? Now, like I said, if you are saying to the Belizean public, look, I will be away for an initial period of 6 months to study law. And we all know that these aren't courses that only last for that short interval.
Time, yeah.
You're looking at several years,
Yeah.
right? And so the remainder, the duration of the term in office is 18 months. And if you're calculating what I just mentioned, $3,000 per month times the 18 months, that's $54,000 that the taxpayers would essentially be paying you for doing nothing.
Yeah.
So now when this is brought to the attention of the Prime Minister for comment on Friday, my opinion here, I think he either missed the mark or he went in a different direction to avoid discussing the issue at hand.
Yeah.
We are taxpayers, right? Every dollar that comes out of my salary, every dollar that comes out of yours, for whatever taxes that are being applied, as long as you're a resident of Belize City, should be accounted for,
Yep.
right? So that if you are telling me, give the young man a chance, well, you've given him a chance. He's been awarded a scholarship,
Yes.
right? And whether the scholarship comes with financial aid or any other means of assisting him through this program, well, that's on the entity, in this case, the government of Belize that has awarded him this scholarship. To say give him a chance, but using my taxpayers' dollars to subsidize whatever his expenses are out there, but he's not working for it, is another question. Because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So if this is the scenario here, then perhaps that should apply to everybody else, but everybody else doesn't get that opportunity.
Right.
They don't. If I am working and I tell my employer, you know what, I need to go back to school, but in this case, I may not be studying or pursuing something that I can use in this job. So I'm going back to school to study biology. When I return from school, I'm not going to be a biologist at Channel 5.
Yeah.
So whatever I'm pursuing is for my own personal development, but not necessarily for the company that I'm working for.
Yeah.
In this particular scenario, you are 18 months away from the next municipal elections. Who's to say that you will be re-elected? Who's to say that you're returning to City Hall in your capacity as an attorney?
Yeah.
There are too many variables and questions to ask. So your pursuit of law is commendable. Everybody who sees it could say that's excellent.
But it's for your
But
own
it shouldn't
personal
come
good.
at anyone else's expense, particularly where taxpayers are concerned.
I definitely will agree with you, and I'll shed some light in this way where I don't know how the variables work in different companies. I know that at certain academic institutions you are awarded study leave with pay after you've given service for a particular period of time, and you also have a contract that binds you to, all right, when you come back you have to give back this amount.
Precisely.
Or if we are going to send you with study leave and pay, it has to be in the best interest of our institution. So if you are working to become a biologist and you want to get one next degree that will further your specialization and make you better, but you have to come back and still serve us, we will continue to pay you maybe 50%, maybe 80%, depending on the institution. And that would still hold in the best interest of the institution, regardless of you were gone for 2 years or you're gone for 3 years and so forth. So I don't know if that is what he was trying to say, or if that was the direction he was trying to take. But in this case, it is different because you are not giving your service to the public. Somebody else should be filling that seat for you. And you should not, in my opinion, you know, you already have a scholarship. I don't know what the scholarship covers, but if you are, you know, just like everybody else that has gotten a scholarship and you decide that you need extra money for so and so, get a loan. Everybody else did. And that's my opinion as well in that case, where what you are doing versus working at a private entity or an academic institution is very different. You're there to govern and you're there to provide laws and legislations to the public. We need somebody to fill that seat. The fact that he's been there with suspended with pay already is not a good situation in my opinion. So I don't think that it is in the best interest of the PUP or the public that we send him with his commission. I don't. So if he's going to be a lawyer for somebody, you know, I don't know how he can benefit everybody.
Well, in theory, if you're looking at it from that point of view, it's not City Hall that's sending him to pursue law, right?
Yeah.
This is his personal interest, his individual pursuit. So it's not to say that he will come back to City Hall and fulfill whatever the requirements of that arrangement are. Not necessarily. But if he were to altogether demit office and say he's resigning as a counselor to pursue his academic path, then in essence that would trigger a by-election.
Yeah.
And you will appreciate the fact that this particular council, when it was a slate led by Bernard Wagner on the heels of the last general elections, they won handsomely. They won every single seat in Belize City. So they enjoy the support of the Belizean voters, those who are residents of the old capital. And so when we spoke with the Prime Minister on Friday again, he was saying, well, okay, well, let's point to these achievements that have been made over the past year and a half or so. We're looking at general elections, we're looking at the municipal elections, we're looking at the village council elections, if those matter in the grand scheme, right? But those were what he pointed to say, look, well, if it comes down to that, we are more than confident that when we field a candidate, that the outcome would be favorable based on the fact that we do enjoy, by and large, the support of the masses, right? So it will be interesting to see where this goes. On one hand, you have the issue of taxpayers' dollars being used to pay a public official who's not administering his duties in the country. And on the other hand, if he chooses to step down, then this will trigger another cycle where we're going to go back to the poll to vote for someone who would effectively replace him.
I mean, I don't know the details of his scholarship. I don't know what it covers. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he can hold it and wait until he's finished in fulfilling his duty. Save up a little bit if you need to go, you know. But I don't believe that it is fair to use our taxpayers' dollars for something
well,
like
if
that.
he has indicated that he's prepared to do Zoom interviews and what have you, well, not interviews, I'm sorry, like to attend meetings remotely. Precisely. Because when you choose people to represent your needs as an individual or as a community or as a country, you're expecting them to be in the here and now administering those duties, right? You don't expect them to be somewhere in another part of the world and they will only join virtually every so often. Your presence is needed.
Yes, I absolutely agree with that. At least in country, you know, I understood when COVID was a thing and we had to do everything via Zoom, but you need to be here, right? And if you're not present, you're not present. If you are already saying that you can't do this and do your degree, you're already telling me that you need to let one go.
Yeah.
So, you know, we'll continue to follow this story, and I'll put my foot in my mouth early on Monday morning. So, Isani, final thoughts.
Well, I'll leave that there. I just figured it's a point of discussion that I wanted to raise this morning in terms of what's happening in Belize City and in Belmopan on the political front. But other than that, the weekend wasn't, one, as we've experienced several times over, filled with, crime and violence situations and what have you. So that's some respite, thankfully.
Yes.
But these stories and more we continue to cover, you will be able to catch at 6 p.m. on our newscast, live on 5. And of course, if you can't sit in front of your television, you're somewhere else, pull out your phone, go on Facebook, and you can catch us on Facebook and of course on YouTube.
You know, Eye on the News needs its own pocket in the show, like where you have 30 minutes of just full on discussing, because we always get like a few minutes to do Eye on the News, and it's just never sufficient. But we have to get moving into our show for this morning, and we have a jam-packed Monday for you. Starting with our first conversation, we have people from the Child Development Foundation, CDF, all to talk to us about their purpose and the different projects that they have coming up this year.
All right, so the second segment of our show will be with the Labor Department as they discuss a new project that comes on board for job preparedness.
And our final conversation, if you didn't catch it this weekend, you will catch her here today. We have the winner of the Miss Universe Belize pageant, Ashley Lightburn, all to talk to us about her road, her journey, and what she hopes for the future. So with that, we're going to take our first break, and when we get back, we'll have the CDF in studio. So stay tuned.
Hola usuario de eCash, la aplicación eCash está disponible en español. Cambiar el idioma de tu aplicación de eCash de inglés a español es rápido y sencillo. Déjame mostrarte cómo se hace. Primero, abre tu aplicación eCash. Introduce tu PIN. Toca el icono More en la parte inferior de tu pantalla. Selecciona Security. Selecciona Language. Y luego selecciona Spanish. Vuelve a introducir tu PIN y ya está. Tu aplicación de eCash está ahora en español y puedes seguir disfrutando de tu cartera digital eCash. La aplicación eCash de Belize Bank te hace la vida más fácil.
Messi! Off goal! What a goal from Lionel Messi! What an incredible strike from Lionel Messi! Neymar and Messi is standing over this. Messi! Off goal! What a goal from Lionel
Great entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
Make your summer better. Over $35,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Purchase any device, sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan, use $50 or more regular prepaid credit, do a SIM swap, or text to the short code. You win 8946. And in the body of the message, enter the number of entries you would like to purchase. Each entry costs only 50 cents.
Don't waste any time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes starting July 1st. All methods give you more chances to win. Airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize of a $10,000 shopping spree courtesy Court and Smart.
Promotion ends September 16, 2022. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
Your Tuesday night entertainment is back. KTV The Remix Season 4.
KTV.
Come on out and win fabulous prizes and the chance to compete in our halftime challenge. Tickets are available at Channel 5 on Coney Drive at $3 for children and $5 for adults. Mask will be required. Or you can watch it live on Channel 5 or streaming on Facebook. The show starts at 8 p.m. at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. KTV The Remix Season 4. It's hot, it's live, and it's only on 5.
KTV.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5 Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
And welcome back. We have joining us via Zoom this morning is the Executive Director of the Child Development Foundation, Diana Shaw. Good morning, Diana.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure.
Good morning, Belize.
Well, Diana, I am so happy that you're here because we have been talking about different not just therapy, but different foundations that do service for their communities. Last week, we had talking about the raging of gangs and so forth in the communities. And so shifting focus into what the Child Development Foundation, we were talking briefly about the difference between the church service and the world service. So for the folks at home, can you tell us a little bit more about what you do and what those services mean?
All right. So we are a Christian social justice organization. We are based in Belmopan in the Cayo district. And I say to people when people ask me, because I'm an ordained minister of the gospel, but I'm also an attorney at law. So I have two hats and the organization reflects a lot of that. I always say to people, I feel our organization has two focus. One is a focus to the church, to better equip the church to serve the world, and a focus to the world to help to address the needs of hurting people. So both of it are about helping people to help others and to equip them, especially around gender-based violence. Our particular focus is to have a community-based response to gender-based violence, particularly sexual violence against women and girls, issues around sexual abuse, commercial sexual exploitation, domestic violence, and human trafficking are the areas where we provide services. And our services include prevention, they include protection, and they include rehabilitation and recovery.
Ironically, those 3 points that you made are very prevalent in Belize when you look at domestic violence, commercial sexual exploitation, and gender-based violence and what have you. Where you are in terms of being able to carry out your functions, who is the public that CDF caters to in this case?
So mainly women and girls. I would say that that's our primary focus, but we do offer services to men and boys as well, because we have different programs that we do. Our flagship program is our counseling center, which is headquartered in Belmopan. And through the counseling center, we provide professional therapeutic counseling. We have trained counselors. We have 3 counselors. Now we have added a 4th counselor who is a psychiatric nurse practitioner with a specific focus on human trafficking. For the expansion of our human trafficking work, we have Mr. Tom Sharp, who is our clinical supervisor, who has a master's degree in family therapy. And we have Monica Villanueva, who is just joining us, fresh from Jamaica, completing her master's degree. And we also have Miss Rhiannon Pennell, who is a specialist on domestic violence. So our counseling program reaches over 100 people every year. We provide more than 300 counseling sessions annually. We help women who are in domestic violence situations to develop safety plans. We help to get them out of domestic violence, and we provide psychosocial support to connect them to other services, supporting them to report to the police. supporting them through court services, and also then providing the counseling therapy to help them to recover from the trauma that they have experienced. And we do the same thing to children who are victims of sexual abuse. We work closely with the Department of Human Services, particularly here in the Kaya district, to provide that counseling support. That's a free, all of those services are free services. And it is free because we have strong partnerships with UNICEF under the Spotlight Initiative to pay for those services, and also the private sector donations from Universal Hardware, Builders Hardware in Belmopan, the Social Security Board, and several other private sector donors that make these services possible. And then we have a service that's specific to migrants, where we partner with IOM, which is part of the UN, to do a migrant resource center that we have here in Belmopan that allows persons who are irregular or undocumented to get assistance to get regularized so that they are not vulnerable. And then through that, we also identify women and girls who are in gender-based violence situations and provide support to them to help them in those situations.
So, Diana, I have a more of a personal question for you. And I guess because you've been doing this since 2000, I believe.
The organization I've been doing it since 2000, but as a formal organization, we were incorporated in 2008.
Right. So how does a lawyer then become a pastor and then, you know, ventures into this journey?
I guess it's one of those things that God has to make clear to you. I don't think that I set out originally to do this. My original dream was just to be an attorney. I came from Jamaica in 1999, and my big goal was to be a civil litigator, make lots of money, and live on the beach and retire young. That was my big dream. And then I told my mother I would volunteer in the church when I was in Central Assemblies of God Church, because she wanted to make sure I was doing something fruitful with my life. And while volunteering in the church, I discovered children who were experiencing abuse and realized that as a church, we needed to have a better response that collaborated more with the government sector and other services, law enforcement, that those children would need and that those families would need for effective recovery. So I started doing that almost as a volunteer kind of extracurricular activity outside of my law practice. I was then with Barra and Company, but soon that became my full-time focus because so many people heard about what I was doing and started calling, asking for help. And so eventually I felt that the Lord was telling me that that's what I needed to be doing and not civil litigation. So I gave up my law work and went into that full-time. And the rest is history. It has been a wonderful, though often challenging journey.
I love
so
it.
You've essentially found your vocation, your true calling.
Yeah.
And
yes.
In the process of having found your calling, you are able to assist as many people who find themselves in these kind of situations that you've described. Let me ask another question here, Diana. So you've transitioned to focusing full-time on this particular foundation and providing the kinds of services necessary for these people to be able to have their issues addressed. Another personal question: what sense of satisfaction do you get from being able to help a child in a particular situation, being able to help a mother in a particular situation, and seeing this all the way through?
Oh, it's amazing. I think perhaps and this is what keeps me going, because I said there are challenges. I mean, there was a huge pay cut when I stepped out of law practice into full-time volunteer work. And eventually I started doing consultancies and supporting law reform projects that now also give me a bigger platform, even in other countries, to expand this kind of work. But that took some time to build up. So there were a lot of challenges along the way, but I also saw a lot of successes. When we work closely with families and we provide what I call wraparound services. This is a phrase I often heard former CEO Judith Alpuche use, and which I have adopted, because I realized that a lot of families, especially when you have a situation a child is being abused, the abuse is one thing, but it's not the only thing that the family is dealing with. For a family to become a place where a child is unsafe, a lot of other things have broken down in that family. There is a lot of other dysfunction. Many times the mother is not working. She may be facing domestic violence. She may have been a victim of abuse herself in her past that was never addressed, that she never received counseling for. There may be a situation where the perpetrator is somebody who is a breadwinner for the family. So there are all of these other dynamics that are at play that you also have to help families to grapple with. And we found that when we are able to come alongside families and walk through the journey with them, we have a better chance of success than if just social work is doing it on their own. Because sometimes they are not able to have the insight in the family. Sometimes families are suspicious of government authorities. They don't trust the social workers. They won't disclose everything to them. But when we have our counselor working with the child, working with the family, and then liaising with human services, you get a fuller response. It's a more community-oriented response that comes around and supports the family, and it increases the chances of success and recovery. So that has really been our model of intervention, and that has been very successful. We have had a lot of success in helping clients who have experienced abuse to recover from that and then to go back into society and to be fruitful and productive and to break those abuse chains in their families so that the next generation is freer from that. We also see when we work with women with domestic violence, it's the same kind of service that we provide. We are able to help them to rebuild connections with their family. Many women who experience domestic violence, they get isolated from their family. The perpetrator isolates them from their family support, and sometimes they feel bad about the experience that they're having. They feel guilty, blame themselves, and they don't share this with family members. Some family members don't even know. But when we become involved and we are able to reach out to the family members on their behalf and say, look here, your family member is going through a difficult situation. Our counselor needs for you to come in because we need somebody in this family to be a champion, to help her through this. We are going to help you, but we also need you to help her. And people generally respond positively to that. And then from that, we are able to have a better family response so that even after the counseling is finished, we know that that person is going to have a support in their family that's going to help them with the long-term recovery that they need to do. So I think that is really what has helped to be successful. When we started our prevention programs in schools with Rise Girls, which we started with the CAMI Fund and with UNICEF in 2014, we also incorporated this, that when we talk to girls about her providing sexual reproductive health information, we talk to them about dating violence, we also have sessions with the parents, because you also need to ensure that they're going to have a strong network around them to support them as they're dealing with those challenges. And that kind of community-based wraparound response to us has been very successful. And we try to model that in all aspects of the work that we do, whether it's with human trafficking, with migrants, domestic violence, or child abuse.
Well, CDF, and I, initially when I was reading about your foundation, I thought it was just catering to children, but it seems like it's a very holistic, very versatile foundation. Can you talk to us? I think in the beginning you mentioned about rehabilitation and youth services. Can you give us a little bit more detail about that kind of program and how you're able to help children and youths in particular?
All right. So for our youth work, we have a community-based program that works through schools. We call it the Rise Girls Reviving Initiative, Supporting and Engaging Girls, which, as I said, we started in 2014, then with the support of UNICEF, and then also the CAMI Fund and some smaller donations from Social Security Board and some private sector donors. And essentially, that's a one-year mentorship and support program that we go into schools, and part of it is general awareness raising amongst girls about issues that impact girls during their adolescence, issues like child abuse, issues like dealing with bullying, issues like cyber safety. We talk about dating violence, and then we provide information on sexual and reproductive health development. We talk about menstruation, your adolescent body development. We have sessions on how you choose the right bra, how you choose the right pad, how you deal with cramps. We have all kinds of things that affect girls during their adolescent years, and it's geared to helping them to become more settled and have higher self-esteem and awareness of themselves and become more confident in who they are as an individual, and then being able to support each other's development in a positive way so that we have stronger school retention, less dropouts, less issues with girls leaving school to engage in child marriage and early union. The other component of that is the parents. They are part of the program, and there are sessions that they have to participate in where we talk to the parents about what it means to be raised an adolescent girl, what are the things that she's going to be facing, how you need to support that. We talk about how you rebuild communication, how you address the issues that as a parent you are having with your adolescent teen, and how you need to support her development and her individuality. And some of those sessions with parents have been some of the most eye-opening. A lot of parents have come and have said to me that they wish they had something like that when they were growing up. Like they never had anybody that talked to them about how to put on a pad, how to choose the right pads for different kinds of flows, and just basic things about hygiene and self-care for women. That
allow me to interject just momentarily. Simply because
I get passionate about this society. I get carried away.
Please get passionate.
Yes. I fully respect and appreciate that. My reason for interjecting here is because naturally I'm thinking that when you have an adolescent, a female particularly, that ordinarily they have these kinds of conversations with their mothers. Like I'm just thinking, I may be completely far off the mark.
That's what we thought. And then we started asking, and the mothers were like, I don't know how to talk about it.
It's a very, I think almost strange or uncomfortable. It shouldn't be comfortable, uncomfortable because it's a natural thing. But for some reason, we can't sit as women and be like, so your flow today, what kind, we can't do that. And I don't know why, really. It's a difficult conversation to have. But no, Isani, we don't talk about those things, unfortunately.
And that's what we discovered. And then I would do sessions with parents, and then I would say to them, so what do you talk to your daughter about? I mean, your daughter is 30, now she's developing breasts, and she's very self-conscious. How do you help her to choose the right bra for her body type and ensures that she's not self-conscious about this if somebody's teasing her? And they're like, well, we don't know if to tell her about that. The teacher's supposed to tell her. I'm like, how's the teacher going to tell her? The teacher don't live at your house.
And I want to also bring up the point. I like that you said that, because we don't give proper sex education and biological education in that aspect. Not even for boys, And it's one of those weird conversations where nobody really knows what size of bra you're supposed to actually wear. But because I don't know, the next one don't know, we bully each other because we don't know anything, and that is where that self-consciousness continues to grow throughout high school, because you are 100% insecure about the way you feel.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
So that's come to one of your sessions, Diana.
Oh yes, the parents love it. The teachers love it as well. So initially, I started with me just having discussions with the girls, and we'd have rap sessions, and they could ask me anything, and then we'd talk about it. Then I started training other peer support and young women who we brought into the organization to then do this. And then with UNICEF and Cami Fund, we developed a full curriculum that actually shows them how to engage in conversation. And then we had a component for parents. And we have a part in the curriculum where the parents have like a model conversation. So they get to learn how to have these kinds of conversations and how to talk about it, how to deal with questions that the teenage girls have, and create a safe space for them to build that engagement.
Diana,
so it has been really good.
So talk to us about future endeavors as we're wrapping up our show our segment this morning.
So 2 big things we're doing this year. We are continuing all of those programs, and then we are expanding our human trafficking work. We have just completed a shelter that will provide rescue and rehabilitation services for women rescued from human trafficking situations. We have always been working alongside ATIPS and supporting Immigration Department in providing awareness and training. But we have discovered that there is a need to provide specific spaces, especially for migrant women rescued from trafficking, where they can have long-term rehabilitation and recovery. So we have just completed that, and that's going to be on board. We are also expanding psychosocial support services. As I said, we have taken on additional counselors because we realize that, especially coming out of COVID, a lot of persons had a lot of issues that they are not dealt with adequately, and it's creating some mental health needs amongst our women, children especially. And so we are going to be expanding those services. And with IOM, we are supporting the amnesty program. And then once the amnesty program is finished, we're going to be looking at integration services. How do we ensure that these persons who have now become regularized by receiving permanent residency through the amnesty program are best equipped to fully participate in the economy and to be productive in society, to address any issues that they may have with gender-based violence, any psychosocial support needs that they may have, so that they can be better parents, they can fully support our communities, and so that we come out of this stronger. So those will be some of the focuses that we will have. Of course, we're going to continue our spotlight work with UNICEF, with family violence, working on preventing domestic violence, child sexual abuse. We're going to continue the counseling center, and we're also going to continue our Rise Girls program in the schools here in the Kaya district.
Well, the Child Development Foundation. Thank you so much, Diana, for zooming in with us to talk to us a little bit more about it. I didn't know you were in Belmopan, so I have to stop by and check out your office.
Absolutely. We are at 13 Garwood Creek Street. Feel free to stop by. You can reach us on Facebook. We're on Facebook as well at CDF Belize. You can find us on WhatsApp, 615-7010. You can find us on the internet, our website, cdfbelize.org.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Diana. And we will continue this conversation more so often because it is needed. And with that, we're going to take our next break. But before we do, Phoenix Boutique's Look of the Week. Check it out.
Welcome to the Phoenix Boutique. Here's our Look of the Week, concert ready. We have a Zara bodycon coral dress with wooden neckline, a Zara irregular mirrored earrings, and it's completed with the Zara platform heels.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Fulltech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price but stay for the service.
Galenia Hospital, located in Cancun, Mexico's premier tourism destination, is a state-of-the-art healthcare facility that provides highly specialized medical services. We are Quintana Roo's biggest private hospital with board-certified doctors and staff. Some of our services include Cath Lab, Adult Intensive Care Unit, Neonatal Intensive Care Unit, emergency rooms, operating theaters, ambulance services, and more. We are a medically accredited hospital by JCI, Accreditation Canada International, and General Health Council, providing extraordinary care in every specialty, from our cardiology department to our neurology center. We are focused on treating the entire person, body, mind, and spirit. Contact us at medicaltourism@hospitalgalenia.com or visit our website at www.hospitalgalenia.com. Come to Galenia Hospital in Cancun for a truly personal medical care experience.
Applying for a Social Security sickness benefit? Here's what you need to know. A complete claims package include 1. Sickness claim form fully completed by the claimant and medical doctor. 2. Salaries record form completed by the employer or HR representative. 3. Proof of bank account such as bank book, online banking, or statement displaying your name and account number. To submit via email, you need to take a clear photo or scan of the documents and email to claims@socialsecurity.org.bz. Be sure to include your full name, social security number, and benefit type in the subject line of the email. Deadline to submit is 14 days from your first day of illness. All forms are available on the website at www.socialsecurity.org.bz. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Your Tuesday night entertainment is back. KTV The Remix Season 4.
KTV.
Come on out and win fabulous prizes and the chance to compete in our halftime challenge. Tickets are available at Channel 5 on Coney Drive at $3 for children and $5 for adults. Mask will be required. Or you can watch it live on Channel 5 or streaming on Facebook. The show starts at 8 p.m. at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. KTV The Remix Season 4. It's hot, it's live, and it's only on 5.
We are back with our second conversation for this morning. In studio with us, we have representatives from the Labor Department, Public Employment Service Unit, Brenda Serrano and Vernon Avila. Good morning, guys. Good morning. All right, so the last time you guys were here, it was to launch a 3-day Labor Department kind of enhancing the unemployed or the employed technical skills and capabilities and to build their resume. So talk to us a little bit about how that went before we get into the root of the conversation.
Okay, the recruitment drive that happened in July, right? It was a success. We targeted 200 job seekers to be enrolled, to be placed in different call centers, since that was our main target, to be customer service and sales agent. We had, out of the 200, we got 115 who remained for the 3 days. During that 3 days, they learn about Social Security, their benefits, labor presentation, labor laws, customer service. And we have to give kudos to our support staff, our employment officers that came from PG who assisted us, who delivered some of those presentations. And during that time, we have other presentations from Radical and Global, and we did a screening process for them so we could have known exactly how they fit in the BPO industry, and it was very successful. And also, we have job seekers who came along who weren't interested in being sales agent, but they wanted the training nonetheless. And that is what we're here to finish target, because when you do job preparedness training, it's not about a particular area. It's about any area that they can fit in the world of work. So that is what we're trying to do. So the recruitment drive was a success, and we're trying to build more capacity within the young people or people who are employed to come to the Labor Department to register and try to get the knowledge so they can actually move in different direction in their career development.
What is the kind of interest being generated from young people for this kind of an initiative? I would gather that perhaps they're the ones who need it most. If you're looking at young people entering the world of work, the whole job industry and what have you, you would think that they have a certain degree of interest in this kind of training where they would be able to learn certain things going in. What is the generation of interest there?
Well, basically the interest, most individuals have a certain mindset whereby they see it, oh, I know this information already, but when they come on board or come for the 3-day recruitment drive that we had, they see a different aspect whereby they enhance their knowledge or sharpen their CV. And to add to what Ms. Ferguson mentioned, we place them on our employment service system online. So those job seekers, those 115, are on our system, and they will seek job for them. So we do the linkage so we can find better, or like Ms. Ferguson mentioned, maybe they don't want to work in the BPO industry. So we'll then try to seek other agencies or jobs related to what they're seeking.
Yeah. How does this make it easier for them in the sense that, like when we were growing up, perhaps, we didn't have
this technology.
Yeah, or job placements and that kind of thing. You go out there and you find your own job based on your interests and your qualifications and what have you. I think this kind of facilitation makes it a whole lot easier for people to find their fit, so to speak. Can you speak on that?
Well, like I said, it's much easier for the youths now in our era because they have the support.
Yes.
They don't have to be, they just have to walk into the department, okay, fill out the qualification, the criteria that we're looking for, and so we can try to make a match. It becomes easier because we're the one who actually make the match for them. And if we see that they need more skill set to get that job, we will try to reach out to get them those disciplines. And we have contact with the employers, right, to make it much easier as well, because we have to try to tailor what the employer they want, and so we suit it to them. So they just have to make sure that they show up, have the correct mindset, they're interested, and we provide that movement for them.
What is the level of preparedness when they walk in? So I know that you all have to kind of provide a little bit of this is how you do an interview, this is how you get your resume prepared and so forth. What has been the level of preparedness for then the person that comes in and says, okay, let's attempt to see how you're able to go through an interview, or let's attempt to furbish your resume a little bit. How is the preparedness?
Well, when they walk in, they're not really prepared for anything. They just decide that, okay, I heard that Labor Department will help me find a job.
Okay.
And when they reach in front of us, that is when the reality kick in. Yes, we might help you to find a job, but are you qualified to get the job? So when we look at it, we have to say, okay, we need to do X, Y, and Z, and they left with them open like, I can't believe that we actually have to.
Much.
Yes,
yeah.
Because when you say, they say that, oh, I want anything. There is not anything out there. So we have to trickle that down. We have to see exactly how we can fit you. So, and that's when we focus on what are your goals, what are your skills, what do you want to do, where you see yourself, right? So we have to come back down to that and decide how we can mentor them to try to challenge them into going in a different direction. And that is where they build character. And that is where we learn their personalities, and we know exactly how we can fit them. And they feel much more appreciated because they return back. And when we finish register them and we put them on the system, they're not left there to dry. They're being called that you need to come in so we can complete this. If we make a match, you have to come in so we can see if you fit in that job, if that is what you want. And then we prep them in interview sessions. And if you're not ready, we tell you cannot go. You have to wait until you're ready. Then we just take them back and we continue.
So there's follow-up in terms of being able to
and follow-up is one of the main things that we need to do because we cannot leave them there.
And to add to what Ms. Ferguson mentioned, each section we give them homework per se. So we have like identify your skills, we'll give you like different scenarios, give you a homework. Resume writing, we ask you to bring out like a template or a sample and so forth. So we try to prep them in each area that we present to them so they have a mindset, oh, no, I don't know, but when you go home, you at least have a certain mindset, and when we come, we actually fine-tune it for you. So when you actually present your resume to the employers, it's well written.
What's the, I know we were talking about generational gap just now, but what is the age range that you're seeing in terms of these people's coming in?
We have from 14 to the oldest will be 49, 50.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when they come in that young, we recognize that they cannot work. But yes, we can provide the skills, but we also have to do kicking our referral mechanism where we have to go to human services, where we have to go to Ministry of Education, right? Department of Youth Service, so we can facilitate to get help for them to put them back in the system. And since we the Ministry of Education policy aside that you must be in school 16. So we have more work to do, and we have to make sure that they get into school so they can at least develop those basic skills, and we can go on from there.
So let's talk about the job preparedness training. We were talking about it a little bit, but you guys are looking to expand it outside of Belize City. So talk about the success and talk about what is allowing you to expand now, and where are you going?
Okay, you want to go?
Sure. The recruitment drive that we held in July, the success rate was really awesome, I must say, because given we cater for 200 individuals and we get 115, and we certify them on the third day, which was the 19th, and we actually upload them in our employment service system portal. So what we're trying to do now, this was only for Belize City, we're trying to expand to San Pedro and Kikaker. And so on the 16th, which will be tomorrow, I'm going to do a presentation, a job preparedness training at the San Pedro Town Council conference room, and Ms. Ferguson will do the one in Kikaker, which will be on the 18th.
Yeah.
So we're trying to finish out the Eastern Division that we see it as, and we try to educate these individuals in certain areas, or like I mentioned, fine-tune their skills.
Yeah.
What I find interesting is that a lot of young people gravitate towards the customer service industry or sector, if I could say that. I think with the popularity of call centers and BPOs and what have you, young people come straight from high school in some cases, or it's sort of like a way station, like a bridge between where they end off right now and where they plan to be down the road, but for the interim they're doing customer service care and that type of thing. I think perhaps that's partly the reason why you guys chose the BPO sector to focus on. When you look at that level of interest in this particular field and being able to kind of hone in on what should be the things that these young people need to learn to be able to work and be able to work at a very proficient level in these areas, what are some of those things that you've observed, young people coming in, that you need to help sharpen up on?
Their work ethic.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we mentioned it last
work
that we were
ethic
here.
It is the major, one of the major thing that we have observed.
In what way?
Well, in terms of tardiness, dress code, respect for the workplace, professionalism, listen, and communication.
The tardiness part, I feel like that's a cultural thing though. We do this Belizean time situation and we kind of count on that. It's the reality, it is. You know, we tend to be like, oh, well, you know, it's not really late. I'm not late if it's 8:05. It's still 8, but it's not, right? So then how do you maneuver that kind of cultural mindset?
It's a bit difficult, but the thing is, there are repercussions, right? So when we speak about knowing the laws of a worker, what your right is and what the employer expect, we dwell that in their mind that you're on their time. It's not your time. It's not your business. So you have to give that respect to the company, and if you decide that you want to remain here, that is how you have to carry yourself. We go back to the school setting. When you wake up in the morning, you need to make sure that you arrive on time, and at school you're dressed properly, you have everything in your school bag and so forth. So the stuff that we learned when we were younger, it prepares us for the world of work. So we have to continue that same trend, right? So ethics start with the golden rules. It starts with your behavior, your morals, right? Your upbringing. So if some people are lacking of that, we try to go back and revisit, what have you learned? What have your mother taught you? And when you put that in that setting, you're like, okay, now I understand. And they change that type of mindset, and they say they know they need to actually do better, be better.
Right, because it's not just go ahead.
Add to what Ms. Ferguson mentioned, each individual is different. So it's like each case is different on a whole. So when an individual enter the workplace, we have to be something like we're considered like counselors, and we do educate them and try to prep them fully as possible. And when we're entering the workplace or do this type of training, we do include labor presentation as well, so they know certain laws that they should know before they actually on site for that workplace. So we try to mold them as best as possible. Some individual right now will have the mindset whereby, oh, I know you're wrong, but how are you telling me and I'm trying to educate you? So when they actually leave our office, they have a different mindset and different perception of life. So that we try to do at the labor department.
Because it's not just about getting the job, right? It's also about keeping the
Yes,
job.
that is correct.
It's oftentimes the most difficult thing to keep the job, right?
Yeah.
Because you could fancy up the resume and the CV and nail the interview, get the job. But when it comes to putting into practice the ethics that you discuss, right? Punctuality, professionalism and respect on the job, and being able to deliver on workload, because I think that's another part that we don't really look at as seriously. Because you could get to work for 8 o'clock. You could be as mannerly as you can be, right? But the actual meat of the matter is your ability to deliver on what you're there to do. And so if you're not trained, not necessarily for that, but trained to be able to identify what needs to get done during the space of time that you are at work, then that's the best way to be productive, the best way to be fruitful on the job. Because I always look at things like, you're dressed up, you're properly dressed up in your uniform that has your logo and all of that stuff.
Your tie, attire, everything
you're
is
there at 8 o'clock, but half of the morning you're at the water cooler, or you're going through Facebook or what have you, right? So while you have parts of it down pat, the most essential part is where you're not exercising what you should be doing.
And to add to that, when we do send job seekers into work, and speaking on work ethics and so forth, we do that. So we give the employer that support, because we randomly go to any employer when they do inspections. We have talks with the workers. We want to see where they are. Then we approach the employer. What are you doing? How we can make changes? And we offer our services to them. We can come in. We can do some training so we can get back on track, because sometimes we need that support. We might be outside, we don't know what is happening inside. So when we go in, we identify certain things that we see that the employer can change, and we build that relationship.
Let me ask another question now that we're having this conversation. Sure. Right ahead, go right ahead.
To add to what Ferguson mentioned, we also do progress reports. So we usually go and see how that individual is actually performing at the establishment. And then we try to have a discussion with the employer to see what areas he or she falls or lack in. So we try then have that discussion and write a report. So each individual case, like I mentioned, is different. And that's why we do a progress report or a background check, how everything is going. Okay, he's late in punctuality, we will then maybe take that individual onto the side and then have a one-on-one session. You're not only displaying yourself, you're displaying the labor department, because we are the one that actually mold you to have that
that link as well.
Correct.
Which brings me to my question.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Perfect segue, right? I think, and I may be wrong with this, it's just the way I'm looking at it, that perhaps there is some kind of a barrier, adventure as far as saying perhaps even a stigma, where the relationship between certain businesses or the relationship between the employer and the labor department, most of the time we hear labor department, it's because there's an issue that is being complained about on the part of the employee going to you guys, right? Now in this particular instance, you're working closely with the employer to ensure that these individuals who you're grooming are their best. But how do you break that initial ice, so to speak, or break or move away from that stigma that, you know what, the labor department isn't just about people coming here to complain about hours and this, that, and the third, but it's here to actually develop young people, in this case, to be better professionals.
That's why we do a lot of outreach. And in our outreach, we try to make sure that they understand the laws, because most of the time the stigma comes from ignorance to the law. Right? And if we're out there trying to make sure that they understand what their rights are and what the employer can and what the employee can do when it comes to within the scope of the law, they will know it, they will understand exactly. We don't have perfect people. we make mistakes, right? But the Labor Department is always there to support the employer and the employee, just as long as it's in confines of the law. So that's why we preach like gospel. The Labor Act is the gospel for the labor officers, that these are what the law stipulates on the land. And we need you to be educated so you understand. Because yes, it might have laws, but it also have different things in terms of code of conduct. It speaks on communication, it speaks on different strategies, what you need to do. And it cannot be just that there's one that you want to bash the whole Labor Department, because we're doing our best to make sure that you understand what the laws are.
So I want to quickly end with two things. One, are you ever going to expand out of the Belize district? And two, are you also planning to go into other private, partner with other private entities for this job preparedness training?
Yes, we have offices countrywide. We have employment offices countrywide. And Belize City is the central, and we're going to roll it out to each district. We have the employment officers are on the ground as we speak, gathering their information, gathering enough job seekers so that we can have a proper job preparedness training. And also we try to collaborate with employers, because and what we forget to mention, that we focus on entrepreneurship, right? So, and that is one of the key things with the employment unit as well, because we want to do different business plan, we want to do a business incubator, so that we can, come aboard and see exactly how we can try to bridge that gap. And because people, they don't necessarily want to go into the work field, they want to work for themselves, right? So we have many different things on our belt that we will achieve, as long as we have the proper roadmap in place and the collaboration with our stakeholders.
Okay, so this particular job training, one more time, it is rolling out in San Pedro and Kikaka.
For San Pedro and Kikaka. For San Pedro, it will be tomorrow. It will be the 16th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the San Pedro conference room. And Ms. Ferguson will be conducting the one in Kikaka. It will be at the Village
Conference Room in Kikaka.
On the 18th.
Same time, 9 to 4.
So Kikaka and San Pedro people, we invite you guys to come on board and let us educate you, or sharpen up your your skills, or any information that you feel like you lack or you need improvement. We're here for you.
Yeah, awesome. I think it's a great initiative, and I really hope that people take into that work ethic education and the knowing your laws, because that's true. People don't really know the labor laws or the Labor Act. So, Brenda, Vernon, thank you both so much for stopping by, and best of luck for this training.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.
Okay, and with that, we're going to take our next break, and when we get back, we have our last conversation for this morning. So stay tuned.
With eCash, bill payment is extremely convenient, and all utility companies accept eCash payments. What's even better? You get to split bills with your roommates, siblings, or whoever you desire. Simply open your eCash app, go to Bill Pay, tap the respective utility company, enter the information, and pay the bill. Then tap the transaction made. Tap Split the bill. Select Evenly. Send the request to who you are splitting the bill with, and get notified when they pay. Talk about making life easy and avoiding confusion. You can split the bill for restaurants, grocery stores, and for any eCash payment you make. To find your next yummy meal, hair treatment, or chill spot, simply open the app and utilize the geolocation service to see nearby businesses that accept eCash. Geolocation and bill payment make life a whole lot easier.
Environmentally degradable plastics, or EDP, are plastics that are affected by a combination of environmental conditions that cause the plastic to break down within an acceptable time frame. They are specifically designed to degrade into carbon dioxide, water, and other biomass substances. The level of breakdown can vary based on standard test methods appropriate to the plastic. Click on the link below to see what you can do to help end the nightmare of single-use plastics. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
To vote for your favorite contestant, smart users will text the number of votes followed by a space and the contestant's number and send to smart code 5885. Each vote costs 50 cents. Voting ends on Sunday at midnight.
Your second runner-up, Samantha Singh, Miss Chial Reserve. Congratulations, Samantha, on a job well done. Ladies and gentlemen, the first runner-up tonight is Miss Alina Scott, Phoenix Boutique. Your Miss Belize is Ashley Lightburn. Ashley, take your first walk as Miss Belize 2022.
Okay. I mean, no introduction. Yes, no introduction at all. Miss Universe Belize, Ashley Lightburn.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, two things, right? One, beautiful.
Thank you.
And two, I think your facial expression was more shocked. I feel like Alina was like shocked for you.
Yes.
Right? Wait, what just happened? So please tell us your thoughts in that very, very moment.
In that moment, because we were talking to each other, she's like, okay, whichever one of us gets it, we're happy. And I'm like, yeah, I love you so much. This was a great experience. And then they made the announcement, and I'm like, wait, the hard work paid off? So I was surprised, you know. I've been dreaming about it, so for it to actually come into terms, it was crazy, and the noise and everything. Like, I had been planning, what would I do with my face if I won? Because I didn't want to do like the, you know. And so in the moment, I'm like, okay, what do I do with my face? So it was a lot of emotion.
Right?
Yeah.
Complete shock, and I think a reaction like that is priceless. You can't prepare for that moment.
Right. Yeah. I've been preparing to win. We've been working hard, but actually winning, you know, it's like if you're preparing for an exam and you know this is the hardest exam that you're going to take in your life, and then you get your grade and like you're shocked with yourself that you actually got this done. This is a milestone for not only me but everything that I represent.
Okay, so that's what I want to get into, because you said you passed the final exam, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the tests and the quizzes along the way. And this is something that I think that most of us don't really understand when it comes to going up for Miss Universe or even for Miss Belize or for any kind of pageant. The work that goes into it. And so for you, Ashley, talk to us about the moment you decided, all right, I'm going to run, versus now, how you feel. What were the steps that you had to take?
Well, when I decided that I was going to do it, it was more of a, I have nothing to lose, so I'm just going to go in, I'm going to have a great time. I did not anticipate the amount of work that I would need to put in. You know, we all think that, oh, we could walk in heels, it's cute, it's fun. But actually learning a pageant walk, the stance that you need to take, how firm you need to be, and then getting your body right, it's a lot of work. Then you have to prepare yourself mentally.
Right.
So it's a lot of sitting with yourself and asking yourself, okay, can I represent? What do I bring to the table? What can I showcase for my country? So it's me putting myself out there, but I have to build myself in the time that I'm doing it too.
I want to go into you and who you are as a person. First of all, pure mathematics and pursuing a master's degree. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Your philanthropical work with girls in STEM. Can you talk to us about how you plan to further that goal?
I want to be able to visit the high schools. This is where it starts. You know, we have to get our girls involved from then, let them know that being in the sciences is not as hard as it sounds. And if you apply yourself, you will get there. I want to share my experience as a mathematician. It has not been easy. I started sixth form and I failed my first semester, because you go in there with this attitude that, oh, I passed high school, so I could do this is cute. But the transition, nobody tells you that it's hard. There's a lot of independent work that you need to do, and you need to prepare yourself for that. So I want to visit the schools, talk to the students, and just give them that insight that they need, so they're able to see that, you know, I can do this, I just need to prepare myself well.
How do you go from math to beauty pageant?
Well, math is beautiful, you know.
Only
Everything that
only
we
mathematicians think so. But yes.
I mean, the concept of putting on your eyelash, that is math in itself, to angle the eyelash correctly. But going from math to a beauty pageant, there's a lot of skills that you learn as a mathematician, to be resilient, to be determined, and, you know, to be quick on your feet. So I'm using everything that I've learned. I'm not doing the calculus part of it, but the maths, it's mathing.
How you walk.
How you walk, how you angle your body, finding, you know, your right positions. It's all math. It's all related.
I like that, because one of the things that I think stood out a lot this time around, not just with yourself but with the ladies as well. I said to myself, that is competition, and the judges are going to have a very hard time, because all you ladies represent something in.
We are all intelligent. We had an excellent panel of delegates this year. They all brought their own thing to this pageant, and it was amazing to get to know them, to get to learn about the things that they're passionate about, and being able to incorporate that, because I don't just represent myself, I represent them as well. So being able to advocate for the issues that they're advocating for, it would be really good for me.
What is the one takeaway that you think all of you learned together that now you're going to carry that with you for the rest of your life?
To value the sisterhood that you develop there. We have all become friends. We're planning little trips here and there. So we're going to Spanish Lookout. That's our first thing.
Oh yeah? Why Spanish Lookout?
Because Kenya's there and she's just saying, oh, we have cows. So I'm going to milk a cow for the first time.
Oh, please make somebody take a picture of that.
Yes, please. Yes. I heard it's a little bit difficult, but I'm going to get it. So value the sisterhood. It's a competition, but it doesn't have to be a catty competition. We all love each other, so it's great.
I love that. I know that we have you here for just a short period of time. You are a busy queen, a tired queen, but we love that you're here. Tell us about now the road to Miss Universe and what you plan to do.
Well, we are going to be putting in the work, so I have to start practicing. I'm not perfect. I need to be able to showcase perfection on the stage. So I have things set up. We're going to be in LA practicing with international pageant coaches. We're going to continue our work with human trafficking. So we're going to get our feet on the ground, get the ball rolling, pushing education, all of the above. I'm here to work.
Yeah.
So the title is prestigious. It brings a lot of perks, of course, but I'm here for the community aspect of it.
Okay, so you're talking about work, you're talking about all of these different projects. How are you balancing that out and doing your thesis?
The thesis suffered this weekend.
I can imagine.
It
for
suffered.
good reasons.
For good reasons, but it suffered this weekend. For the most part, I'm done. So I defend at the end of the month. So thank you. I had to hand in my final. So I had to email my teacher and I was like, competing in a pageant, kind of won, need an extension. So I should hand in
Can't wait for the response to that email.
Yeah. I think they're going to be shocked. Like, okay. So the thesis has suffered, but it suffered for a good cause.
Well, Ashley, we thank you so much for gracing us with your presence.
Thank you.
And I know that you said you're not perfect or anything like that, but we truly are proud of you.
Thank you.
And we can't wait to see the great things that you put on that stage.
Thank you. But it wouldn't have been possible without all the people that have been supporting me. Those that supported the pageant, Next Gen, Zitra International, BTB, the Phoenix Boutique. All these people made what you guys saw on Saturday night possible. The beautiful delegates. It's been a great journey and I'm excited for what's ahead.
All right. Well, thank you so much,
Thank
Ashley.
you too.
Yeah, give a wave to our audience. Lovely. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
With that, we're going to take our final break and we'll be back for a wrap up. So stay tuned.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new Smart Stream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, Smart Stream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with Smart Stream.
Thank you for supporting us throughout our journey over the years. Thank you for helping us to expand and improve our products and services. Thank you for allowing us to form new partnerships and develop new and exciting promotions. And thank you for being patient with us during these changing times. As we continue our journey, we would like to say thank you for giving us the opportunity to serve you.
Venice.
Celebrating 75 years. Quality and savings. Quality and savings.
Your life just got a lot less complicated with Belize Bank Contactless MasterCard Debit Card. Introducing our Standard Debit and MasterCard Platinum Debit Cards. Now you can make purchases anywhere MasterCard is accepted with one tap, pay and go. Your contactless card never has to leave your hands, especially in these times. And your card is embedded with multiple layers of security. Platinum card holders get to enjoy extra benefits like price protection, purchase protection, trip inconvenience, and luggage protection, just to name a few. Start enjoying a cashless lifestyle today with the Belize Bank.
Your Tuesday night entertainment is back. KTV The Remix Season 4. KTV. Come on out and win fabulous prizes and the chance to compete in our halftime challenge. Tickets are available at Channel 5 on Coney Drive at $3 for children and $5 for adults. Mask will be required. Or you can watch it live on Channel 5 or streaming on Facebook. The show starts at 8 p.m. at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. KTV The Remix Season 4. It's hot, it's live, and it's only on 5.
And we are back. Just like that, our Monday morning show has come to an end.
Yes. We'd like to say thank you to our guests who appeared on the show this morning, beginning with Diana Shaw from the CDF, yes, and of course our friends from the Labor Department.
Yes, and of course our final conversation was with our Miss Universe Belize. One of the things I will say about all three conversations this morning, Sani, they were all about service to our community.
Yes.
And I really, really like that the different aspects of whether you are in government, whether you are doing your NGO, or whether you're growing up from Miss Belize, you all have your part to play in the development of this country. So I will look at the positive in that aspect. But right, thank you to all of you for tuning in this morning and waking up, starting your morning right here at OYE. So we would like to say goodbye, but if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or if you just want to send us a good hello, you can drop us a line here at oye@channel5belize.com. Check out our live stream on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ and our highlights from our show on Instagram at OYE Belize. Thank you all so much. We'll see you tomorrow when you get up, you open your eyes.
To start your morning right.
Be sure to keep your minds, your eyes,
and your hearts open.
See you tomorrow. Bye, Belize.
Ashley, take your first walk as Miss Belize 2022.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.